Good morning, guys, or evening, or afternoon. Tea, coffee, meat, potatoes, tofu, whatever. Welcome, guys. This is Issues with Taddy One Skip. I'm just glad to be part of your day. I appreciate it. There's so many of you. I think almost 6,500. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. You have asked me, a lot of you have asked me to check on the Baby Reindeer. So, I haven't watched this series. I have not watched the series. I just want to be honest. I'm having a little problem with Netflix because I have my mom on my Netflix account and my brother on my Netflix account, and now I think I can't have me on my Netflix account. So I have to get another Netflix account. But anyway, that's fine. I think I already have Netflix, but now I just got to get it hooked up as... I don't know. I did pay like an extra $7.99 or $6.99. I don't know. Anyway, Netflix, I might not want you. So I have been watching the controversy over Baby Reindeer with the fact that maybe Netflix is going to be in trouble because Fiona Harvey, Martha, who is the supposed stalker, that Gad, the actor and comedian, that it was about him, right? So Martha, who is the supposed stalker, who is based on Fiona Harvey, who nobody was supposed to know about because they supposedly had her identity under wraps and was going to keep it, you know, so that nobody knew who she was. Within hours, people knew who she was, and she started getting harassed, right? So she reached out, I guess, to Piers Morgan, or maybe Piers reached out to her, whatever. She came on the Piers Morgan show without any kind of coercement and wanted to tell her side of the story, and had said she had never been arrested. And clearly in the show, it does say that she was convicted of stalking, but she says that never happened. And there's some other things she claims that didn't happen that I would question because of the way that she answered the questions. But it seemed 100% clear, and it seems that people are looking to find an arrest record on this woman, and it can't be found. So, if that's the case, they are definitely going after Netflix. And another thing, if that's the case, it makes you wonder how much of a true story this story actually is, because they didn't say it was based on a true story. They said it was a true story. There is a difference between based on a true story, some parts are true, based on true incidents, however you want to language it. But if you want to language it that this is a true story, that becomes very black and white. So when people watch this, they're invested in it because they're like, oh my God, could you really believe it happened? That didn't happen. It's a drama. No, man. True story. And then you want to watch it and say, that's a true story. Now, when I say this, and I am going to watch the Netflix, I will. I'll watch the Netflix drama on my 2 days off, and I'll come and I'll talk about what's going on, how I feel about Baby Reindeer, and all of that, as well as more of the controversy next week, promise. Providing there's no more horrific murders in this country. Anyway, guys, seriously, so I will talk about that. But I wanted to shift this a little bit and say, why is that any different than what we're watching about Gypsy Rose? So if it's not okay to, I know that, you know, the Gypsy Rose thing is based on a true story, but the main part that is supposedly true is the Munchausen by proxy. That is supposed to be true all the way across the board. I don't think it's true. There's people with Munchausen syndrome by proxy that don't think it's true either, because they actually have it, and when they see Gypsy and they hear Gypsy talk and they know what Gypsy's doing with surgeries and the way Gypsy is so ignorant to the way people would behave with trauma about Munchausen by proxy syndrome. There are people that are calling her out that she is having bullied, supposedly, and there's receipts of that. She has tried to shut people down who are just trying to do things unfairly. Yet, we can't really hold Gypsy responsible. All we could do is call her out on things and possibly make her feel like she's got to do something right. Whether that be pay back these organizations that you and your mom grifted from, or just keep stum about your victimization and what you went through, because it's not true. And, you know, we can bat back and forth about what's true and what's not true. I've done it a million times. I've shown you guys, look at my videos, listen to her speak. Everything she says, basically, she says 3 different ways because she has no memory of it, because it's not the truth. She only knows how not to say it, and that's by admission of guilt. Okay? So we can hold the production companies accountable. They have to realize at this point that the only thing Gypsy is a manipulator. Somebody who wants to profit from tragedy. Somebody who wants to profit from lies. Somebody who is continuing a grift in a different realm now. Has a different realm of the grift, but still a grift. But when Hollywood backs it up, they make it seem like it's more credible. So when is Hollywood going to come in and say, yeah, we need to back away because this is poison, and we don't want to make a celebrity out of somebody who manipulated the unaliving of not just anybody, but their own mom, simply because the woman got in the way. We need to be held accountable and responsible for what we put on the airwaves, and we need to relook at this evidence. And that's what these shows need to actually do. After they've made their little bit of money, you can make a lot of money going back in and saying, did we get this wrong? Let's look at this. Did we get this wrong? If Gypsy had Munchausen syndrome by proxy, why did she go out and have elective surgery when, I mean, if you look at, you just look at our war veterans, when they hear, and they've suffered with PTSD, I mean, some of them sleep in closets. Some of them have to have complete darkness. Some of them are walking around with headphones so that they're noise canceling. Some of them wake up in the middle of the night with terrors. But I'll tell you what they don't do. The people that suffer from PTSD don't jump back in the middle of a war zone or a potential war zone. Not when they're dealing with the trauma of it. So how Gypsy can just go into elective surgery is beyond me. And how come anybody in Hollywood can't look at this and say, man, maybe we got this wrong, and maybe we need to be held accountable for this. Maybe we need to say, did we get it wrong? And let's see if we can't make it right. That's what I think. So, also, how can Hollywood back her up, back up Gypsy, when they see just the mean person she is? Just the people that celebrate Gypsy are the same people that write shit like this to Nina. All Nina did was expose who Gypsy is. And these are the stands. Now, if that's the behavior that follows the people that follow Gypsy, why does Hollywood support that? That's my question. Guys, Hollywood needs to be held accountable, especially if they're putting stuff out there knowing that they're not doing their due diligence to see what's true and what's not true. What has to happen before Hollywood becomes accountable and this stops happening? Guys, tell me what you think in the chat, please. And I will be watching Baby Reindeer and doing more research on that, as well as keeping up with Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her shenanigans and what's going on with that. Her parole officer will definitely be held accountable if something happens with Gypsy and with what happens that is connected to Gypsy because of her stands, because she's not asking people to stop and behave. She's not. And she's not leading by example either. All right, guys, don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind, never be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And please subscribe, like, and share. Thanks, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip.